All right, we are back, people. The ceremonial water chug, I should say. Blue snowball. All right, we're gonna get this one just kind of fired up, and then we'll be all set to go. And if you can hear some background noise, the rest of the fam is watching a movie downstairs, so that's kind of how it rolls. But let's get underway. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Idols to Rivals podcast. This is episode number 31 of hopefully 1,000. We're gonna stick with 1,000, but yeah, episode number 31. Super pumped about it. And I was really proud with how last week's video and podcast did. Not statistically, but just how I went about it and how it felt to me and how I thought my message was portrayed. I really thought I did my best effort, and I think it got portrayed well of how I actually think about those kind of stronger topics. And I think with more talk about it, with more speak about how kind of the realness of it and the importance of not being so quick to jump on something and assume, okay, something's wrong with me, is all. I do it all the time. You think, okay, the worst thing, and it just pops right in your head. I get that. But it's kind of important to talk about how things can improve and things can get better. But yeah, welcome back to the Idols to Rivals podcast. Excuse me. This is episode number 31. I am your host, Jack Hummell. That is at Jack Hummell on Instagram and YouTube, the biggest two, and Spotify and Snapchat and everything like that. But yeah, 2 M's, 2 L's at Jack Hummell. I'd appreciate a follow and a subscribe. Those are the two channels that I'm trying to really grow and trying to get kind of a community and a base just to kind of build off of and grow. Like I said, the community of people that are on the same page, that are going after their goals, that aren't really stuck in their ways and want to learn and improve, because that's my biggest thing is progress is living. So progress is the ultimate goal. If you're stagnant, at least for me, it drives me insane. I can't be stagnant. I can't be in one place. I love to travel. I love to grow. I love learning things. I love leveling up just as a human being. And so that's what we're about. So if you like that, hit the subscribe button. If you like that, give me a follow and DM me and let me know kind of what your thoughts are on the podcast, how I can improve it, what you liked about it, what you didn't. I'm always open for suggestions. But want to start off with a little sports news, as we've been doing. We've kind of got a little bit of a structure, 30 episodes in, we kind of got a little bit of a structure. So I don't know if you guys have watched it. I'm assuming everyone has, but Alabama is playing Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl. I do not think Notre Dame should have been let in. It's kind of wild to me that they I believe they're a 2-loss team is in the playoffs. But anyway, and we were supposed to go to New Orleans to watch the game in the city that it was played in, but we got the other bowl, so that's fine. I'd rather have us play in the Rose Bowl anyway. It's a little more prestigious, I think. And then it's Clemson, Ohio State, the rematch from last year. We'll see how it goes. I think personally, Clemson is going to wax Ohio State just because Ohio State hasn't played enough games to make me think they deserve to be in the playoffs, and B, I just think Clemson's the better team. Unfortunately, I would be probably rooting for Ohio State, as weird as that sounds, and as much as I hate saying that ever. I wish they could both lose, but that's not really how the game works. So we're gonna have to pick one, and I believe I'm going with Ohio State as of right now. I hate Clemson. I've hated Clemson for the past 5 years, and we've just been in duels with them, and it's not been fun. And so I'm looking forward to that game. Looking forward to the Alabama Notre Dame game. Won the SEC championship. Kind of scared us at the end. There was a little bit of tomfoolery, but the hit that Mechie threw out on that safety or DB for Florida. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure if you Google it on Twitter or anything, a GIF, I'm sure you can find it. It was the hit of the year by our wide receiver. So I thought that was great, and people are calling for targeting. Like, come on now. You can call every single tackle targeting. I'm sick of that targeting call. I'm sick of that being what football is, and the fact that if you hit somebody in their chest, if the top of your helmet touches top of somebody else's helmet, that's a flag. You should eject them. No, I'm not about that and never will be, won't stand for it. And I think you don't actually support the game of football if you believe with that. And I will die on that hill. I promise you that. But in other news, kind of the bigger news that I wanted to talk about, I've talked a little bit about kind of investing, and if that was super loud, I just accidentally hit my mic. But I talked a little bit about investing. One of the episodes I talked about Bitcoin and how it's kind of exploding right now, and how I had in the past an opportunity to kind of invest in it whenever it was fractions of a penny for a Bitcoin, and all those fun thought experiments about how many Lamborghinis I could own at this moment. But hindsight's 2020, especially with investing, you never know. But it's fun to talk about, and I went to school for it, so that's what I like and it interests me, and I think it can be used as a very valuable tool for a lot of people to get to their personal finances to places they never thought they could. And so I think it's super powerful. But recently there has been a interesting, I could say not hit piece, but if you know anything about investing, Morningstar is kind of an investing news website, and Robinhood, the app, it's actually the one I use, among a couple other ones, is being a little bit, I guess, called out, you could say. They were wondering. So Robinhood, basically what it is, it's like you can buy and sell stocks. I believe there's a limit on how many, like day trading wise, like if you buy in at 9 in the morning, sell at 1 in the afternoon, things like that. I believe there's a cap on how many times you can do that, because there's no fees for pulling your money in and out. If you didn't know, most banks, if you invest in something and then pull it out, you are going to be charged a fee. So that's why whenever especially with smaller investors, like with me just starting a career and other people my age, whenever you're not starting with such a huge amount of money, having a $5-10 fee on a $100 stock, it just doesn't make sense. So that's why this kind of appealed to a lot of people, and why, even if you don't know anything about investing, you've probably heard your friends or somebody talking about, oh, I'm on Robinhood, oh this, oh that. And they're kind of under a little bit of an attack. So recently there was an investor who had $300,000, I believe, taken away from a hack. And so then he was reimbursed it by Robinhood and then taken away again. So he's thinking, okay, this is 300 grand. This isn't anything to laugh about. This is a lot of money. And this also comes after there was a horrible case of I believe a 17-year-old kid. Don't quote me on all of this. It's just kind of rough numbers. And he bought on margin, which basically, and I mean, I'm no expert on this, basically means you can buy more than you really have because of however much money is in your bank account. And there's all rules and percentages that you need to follow. And so this kid had, I believe it said $750,000. He went into negative, and he ended up unfortunately committing suicide. And so there was higher regulations put in. There was things along that nature, which, in all honesty, as a Robinhood user, there really wasn't. It just kind of it would ask you questions about whenever buying like calls and puts and stuff like that, and buying on margin. It said, hey, how long have you been investing? And it's like 0 to 1 year, 1 to 3 years, 5 to whatever many amount of years. And all you really need to do is hit a button. So it wasn't really that hard to get around. I believe liably and legally they had to do that, and I understand that. But there's also all sorts of facts about, I'm reading through, they're in some trouble with the SEC, and let's see. And so basically they were saying that Robinhood is kind of a broker. So they're buying and selling through other people, and they're not actually doing it through just yourself to Robinhood to whatever stock you're buying. Like, let's say Tesla is a hot one right now. And they're finding that they were kind of brokering and kind of taking money on the side and things along that nature. Like I said, this came out 2 days ago, so we don't know if all this is facts, but it's something to look into if you use Robinhood. I'm definitely going to look into it more because I do use Robinhood, and I want to make sure my money is safe, because you work hard for that, and you want to make sure your investment's safe, and especially if the company you're using to hold all your investments and to buy for you and sell for you and things like that, you want to make sure they're on the up and up. So we'll see how that plays out. Like I said, if you're in Robinhood, if you're into any of that stuff, I'll just check it out, just do your research and things along that nature. But I want to give a quick shout out, my buddy Cruz. He just started a podcast called the Cruise Control Podcast. It is, I believe, a fully only sports podcast. In this episode, he had on Nick Saban's daughter. So kind of a big start. I believe it was the second episode. Kind of a big start off the bat. I believe Nick Saban's daughter is basically royalty at Alabama. So if you haven't, go check it out. It's called the Cruise Control Podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. Go check it out. Show him some love. Tell him I sent you, because he's a good dude. And we're actually talking right now about getting together. I guarantee he'll be on this podcast eventually, just kind of shooting the shit, because he and I are kindred souls. So I don't know. We're just trying to get more people on the podcast, and we will. I've spoken to about, I think, 3 people, and then Cruz will be 4, and we will get we'll just get some episodes with more people than just me. But it's a lot easier logistically just to knock these episodes out, especially when you're working all day. I mean, it's already 9:44, and it's hard to set up those events. But no excuses. We're going to get it done, and it'll be badass. So another thing I kind of wanted to talk about, and there was 2 really bullet points that kind of got me thinking. And I was driving home, I believe on Monday or Tuesday, so yesterday or the day before, and I was just thinking about, while I was driving, how you get that kind of like, whoa, like what would happen if just like that car swerved across the lane, and just I've heard it recalled to the call of the void, where it's just like, what if that 18-wheeler swung over and just ended it? Or what if something happens and like a spare tire flies out of nowhere and hits your windshield and you're done? Like, it's just that thought, that human thought. And it's just the fact that we have an expiration date on this living thing, once again, as far as we know, the fact that we don't think about that all the time is fascinating to me. And I was sitting there driving, and when you're just so deep in thought, you're like, you're blasting music, but you can't even hear it. I was just sitting there, and I was watching like somebody at the gas station while I was at the light, and I was like, they've got a whole life that I will never know about, most likely. And they have their fears, they have the people they love, they have this whole storyline, and you don't know anything about it. And it's just another great example is whenever you're sitting there, if you've ever looked out of the window of a hotel and there's an equally high hotel next to you, and there's just windows, and you're like, every one of those windows, or an apartment complex is even a better example, but every one of those windows contains an entire life of someone, the struggles they've been through, the wins they've had, all of these things, like I said, the people they love, and you will never know anything about it. And it's almost sad in a way. Like, I don't want to say it's sad, but it's the only word that can come to the top of my mind right now. But the fact that there's so many people that you don't know anything about them and never will, just you can't know everything about everybody. It's just impossible. Is mind-blowing. The fact that we go day to day, we worry about, I don't know, the latest fashion trends. We worry about, what's another good thing? Just the drama in our friend group. And it's like, we're going to die one day. Like, not to be morbid about it, but let's be real on here. Let's be real on the Idols to Rivals podcast. We're going to die one day. We're going to punch our card. We don't even know what it is. It'd be different if we had, what was that movie called? Oh, it's got Justin Timberlake and just an absolute rocket ship actress who I don't think I've seen in other movies, but they have the time. I think it's called In Time, actually. They have the time. Whenever you turn like 18 or 21, you have 24 years, and a timer kind of, and I'm kind of showing on my wrist, but on like from your wrist to the middle of your forearm, there's a timer, and it's like you get 24 years. And the rich have 1,000 years. Like they're buying like Lamborghinis, and they shake hands, and that's how you transfer time. And it's like Lamborghinis like 50 years, and the uber wealthy buy houses. Like, everything is time. Currency is time. You got to pay 30 seconds to get a sandwich, things like that. And it's just the fact that we don't know, and we don't have an expiration date. Like, it could just be whenever. You could just drop dead whenever. And that we still get torqued out about these things, and we're not constantly thinking about, oh my God, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Is a beautiful thing. The fact that we can do that as humans, as smart as we are, and as how we have decision-making skills, and we decide not to think about it all the time, is fascinating to me. It's just, just take a moment. Like, it's gonna happen one day to everybody. And it's like, that's almost kind of a sobering thought when you think about it, is because everyone does it. And there's a great quote. It's dying is easy, living is hard, which is something I think everyone should keep in the back of their mind, is just as a tool to fight the demons or the bad thoughts that are going through your head, and think about it like that. But we have a punch card. We don't know when it is, and we're not constantly thinking about it. Yeah, you have your scares. Yeah, you have your moments where you're like, okay, what's going to happen? Or like I said, you have, like, God forbid, medical issues or whatever, or car accidents. Like, that's when you really kind of check up, and you're like, damn, you're like, that really didn't matter, the fight I got into with that person. It really didn't matter. Like, this is what matters. The people that are around me right now, this is what matters. And the fact that we have that option of thinking about that, or the lack of thinking about that, is mind blowing to me. That's what I don't know why, but these two people at the gas station, I think they were getting like ice or something, but just lost in thought about, what are their worries? What are they like? What do they live for? What do they like? What do they hate? What foods do they eat? What do they do for fun on the weekends? Just thinking about that, and just knowing that we're never going to know that, and we're all going to end up in the dirt someday, and we're all gonna end up as just a memory, as just a name. And even talking about it now, it like kind of gives you chills of just thinking about everything that you could do, and it kind of brought me to this realization of perspective. And I've been trying to just instill that, just sculpt it into the top of my brain about perspective. And that number one is mindset. I talked about this, about the Greg Plitt and Gary Vaynerchuk stuff last week. Mindset is everything. If you can start with mindset, you can do anything. If you're in a bad mindset, you can change it, because the only way to change a bad mindset is mindset. And then you go and do the thing that you were afraid of, or do the thing that you need to do, or get the thing done that you need to get done. And being able to realize that and get off the hook of fear, of self-doubt, and changing your perspective. And I was working out a little bit earlier before this, and you'll see it on the vlog if you watch the vlogs on the YouTube channel. you'll see like I just ran further than I've ever ran in my life. And it's just the whole time I'm thinking about, all right, I need to get this done. Why am I doing this? Why am I sitting out here all alone? Like as soon as I get back, I'm filming a podcast and I'm going to bed and then I'm starting the work day on Christmas Eve. And I'm just thinking, why am I doing this? Why am I not just sitting at home chilling? But it's like the not living up to your potential. David Goggins talks about that's his number one goal is if he was given a chart, and I know for a fact I've talked about this on one of the past episodes of the podcast. So if you haven't watched or listened to all of them, go check them out. I think they're pretty good. but the fact that he wants to be, whenever you're supposed to be a 10 whenever you die, and then he goes up to God and he's like, or the universe or whatever you believe in, and he's like, I want to be a 13, I want to be a 15, you were supposed to be here and you excelled in that, and you left nothing on the field. And so that's the mindset I'm harboring in myself right now. I'm burying it deep into my foundation so I can build off that. And it's coming slowly, but it is happening and I can feel it happening. I mean, like I said, you'll see on the podcast this week or the vlog this week, I'm just gassed up right now. And I knew this podcast was going to go well. And I wasn't nervous about getting on here. I had a couple of talking points, and as you see, I'm getting better. We're always improving. And it's just, that's what it's about is getting after it and realizing, hey, every shot's not going to be your best shot, but the fact that you're shooting is all that matters. And so that's something I'm trying to live by, is just get in the ring. Just whatever you do, get in the ring. And I'm just throwing out metaphors right now like it's going out of style, but just getting in the ring. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. Just get in the ring and do it. And that's what this is about. And that's why sitting down, setting up this podcast, talking to you beautiful people, it's just get in the ring and do it. And the more you do that, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And the more you do that, the better your chances of success are. And they're almost inevitable. And I truly believe that. And I'm trying to be great. Like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm trying to be great. And I'm trying to fight for that. And I talked that talk for a very long time without really doing anything. And then now it's just like, I'm not waiting any longer. I've realized a lot of things this year, whether it just be the life changes that happen. I mean, going through college, I mean, the freshman right now, I can't imagine, but kind of if you're a sophomore, junior, the year's really not that different for you, or even in high school, kind of the same setup. Once you're in those middle years, you kind of know what's going on. But the people graduating, the people that are just getting their first job, and we're in a pandemic. I mean, it's something that we've never dealt with. It's something that our parents have never dealt with. They're on the bus too. Your grandparents probably haven't dealt with it either. They've dealt with wars. They've dealt with things along that nature, but they haven't had to deal with this massive. I mean, there's nowhere safe. At least with war, the home front. If you were in the States, you were safe, but here it's everywhere. Or like whenever you see something like wildfires in California, you're like, well, at least I'm not in California if you're not in California. But here with the pandemic, it's everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in Djibouti, Africa, or if you're in Monaco, or if you're in New York City. It does not matter. You are affected the exact same way. And it's just going for it. It's just realizing that you're just going to get your ass beat left and right. And it's just eating those punches and going and going and going and going until the dude either breaks his wrist or dies from exhaustion. It's just, that's how it is. And normally that's your own mental battle, and your own thoughts inside yourself are what you're really fighting, because the only person that can poison your brain is you. Sure, you can have people outside thoughts outside, but you allow that to get in. And if you can just stop that talk and stop that negativity and change your perspective and go for it and understand that things will get better and it will be all worth it in the end. And it's just realizing that even in the darkest times, even when you're tired, even when you don't want to do something, just realizing it's going to be worth it. And that is something huge. And realizing that as soon as your mind goes into a bad spot, you just got to fix it. Just start with the mind. Even if, okay, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm too tired. I'm too weak, whatever. Just start with, no, I'm not weak at all. No, I can do it. I can do that. Or you're going to study for the test. No, I'm too dumb. I can't get all this stuff. I'm bad at math, or I'm bad at science, whatever it is. Just start with, no, I could do it. No, I could achieve that. Just start with that. And then slowly that'll build into, yeah, I could do that. I can make that happen. I mean, why not? Why not me? And then you start thinking, okay, let me just open the book. Let me just open the first page. Let me just open the first page. And then you're on the second page. And then you're on the third page. And then you're an hour into studying and you're like, okay, Okay, I got this. And then here's the thing. All those motivational things you hear, all those great books and all those things, they tell you like it's like, okay, you're done. Guess what? In an hour, whenever you stop studying to go get a coffee, or whenever you go make a snack or a sandwich or some ramen noodles, you're gonna be thinking the same thing. You're gonna be like, yeah, I got an hour studying. I'm probably good. Or I got an hour studying done. You're like, oh man, but I don't know if I can get back in the groove. I don't think it'll go as smoothly as last time. This isn't a one-stop shop. This isn't a take this pill and you're good. This is going to be every day 365 until you build that muscle up of, okay, I can do this, or okay, I can study for this. Okay, I can learn this subject. Okay, I can compete in that art competition, whatever it is, whatever, or I can go for football tryouts, whatever it is. It's that constant battle. And I think that that's not harped on enough, is that changing perspective, that getting your mind right. That isn't a one-shot deal. That is a everyday 365, make sure your mind's right and go after it. And so that's why I kind of want to bring up just changing your perspective. Like I said, we all got one ticket on here as far as we know. And I love saying that because I like keeping the door open, because what if we don't? What if we don't? Who knows? I'm always open to suggestions. I'm always open to ideas. And I love that I'm like that. I really do love that about myself, that I'm open to whatever you'll tell me. Like, I mean, I read books on Buddhism. I have a best friend who's Mormon. I have a thousand friends that are super Christian. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's whatever you believe in, and I'm all for all of them. As long as it's not hurting anybody, I'm all for all of them. So that's why, if you've ever wondered why on all these podcasts I say as far as we know, because I don't want to shut the door on that. I don't want to close off the universe to that possibility. But as of right now, all we have is one shot. So getting after it and getting over that fear, because I think it's too late for a lot of people. And that is my number one fear, is it's too late for a lot of people when they go, all right, I don't give a shit about anyone's opinion anymore. Well, I'm 75 now. I can't walk. I got a bad knee. I can't really get after it. I got to sleep a lot. And I think just getting to that as quickly as possible. And I see these kids, and I say kids, I mean, I'm 23, but I see these kids, these 16-year-old, these 12-year-old, these 18-year-old kids, and they're going after it no matter what. Like these TikTok guys, these TikTok girls or whatever, they're going after it. Like, yeah, they may get made fun of for a little bit, but I mean, what if? We're all about what ifs. What ifs? What if it works? Why not? Why not me? You know? And it's just that regret of what if you went for it, and we can turn it the other way. What if you went for it and it worked? Or you can go, damn, I didn't go for it. What if I did? That's so much scarier. That is so much more power. And putting that in perspective of, like I said, everybody's got those days where they don't want to do anything. Everybody's got those days where they're beaten down. Shit, we've all had a year where we've been beaten down, but it's getting that perspective, and it's fighting that battle in your mind every single day, I think, is pivotal. And I've been kind of, as I learn more about humans and performance and things along that nature, and just the mind, it starts with that. I'm always looking for step one. Like we can get to the religion and the lofty goals or whatever later, but I want to know what step one is, so I can work my way down the board and get to the next level. Just step one, get your mind right. If you get your mind right, you can do anything. And look at every person that you look at that's successful. They all talk about mindset. I guarantee it. I guarantee it's a founding pillar, because it is. As soon as your mind's right, as soon as you tell yourself you can, you'll find a way to. If you tell yourself you can't, you're not going to be able to. It's going to be impossible. I don't like using the word impossible a lot, but it will be impossible if you tell yourself you can't do it. But those are just kind of my thoughts on everything. I appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, episode 31. I think one more episode before the year ends, which is kind of wild to think about. And then we're on to 2021, where we're going to crush shit, and we're going to get after it, and we're going to attack everything. And that's kind of the motto. Just to fear nothing, attack everything. And so I appreciate it, guys. If you check out the YouTube video, we do a little bit of after dark. Geez, voice crack. We do a little bit of after dark section. So I kind of come on here, talk, and just kind of trying to construe my final thoughts. So go check it out on the YouTube channel at Jack Hummell. But I've been your host, Jack. I appreciate you guys for listening. At Jack Hummell with 2 M's, 2 L's on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you could check out the YouTube, I really appreciate it. It's really where my heart and soul's at, and getting better. And it's really challenging, but it's the most rewarding, I think, so far. But yeah, if you give me a follow on that and reach out and let me know what you think, let me know topics you want to talk about. or I should talk about, and just let me know. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. You have a great week and have a Merry Christmas. Tell somebody you love them and just attack everything. Get after it. All right, After Dark Squad. Let's get it. So, but yeah, perspective is everything. I mean, it's what changes you from being sad, from being happy. Perspective is how you perspective is life. It is your life. If you choose to see things as shitty, you will see things as shitty and you will live in a shitty state of mind. If you choose to see the good in things, and this has been, I think the reason this sticks out to me the most is because it's been the most difficult for me, because I'm not going to say I'm a pessimistic person. I don't want to label myself that, but because I'm changing, I'm not a pessimistic person. I like to label myself. I like to have that out whenever I was younger. I like to have that out of, oh, I'm just a pessimistic person. It's okay. I can be in a bad mood. It's okay. I can see the negative everything. That's a scapegoat. I'm not allowing that at all. And I just think that that's why it sticks out to me. Whenever you see something that just resonates with you so hard that you're like, okay, it's like watching a movie. Certain lines stick out to certain people, whatever. It's whether it's a life thing, whether it's something that relates to your family or to your just mindset. That's why it sticks with me is I always use that scapegoat of I'm a pessimist. I just think about the negative, so I can be in a bad mood. I can be fucking an ass. But it's not. That's an excuse, and that's not how it is. And you can change that. And that's why I think I'm so focused on it. And that's why I want to give it to people, because that was my unlock. That was my okay, this is what happens whenever you think positive. That was my turnkey. That's my, okay, it's time to play. It's time to attack everything, like I always say. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the new year. I hope you guys are too. Like I said, I believe, let me check the old calendar. Yep, next Thursday, or next Wednesday will be the last episode of the year. First year we've been on air, I guess you could say. And actually, I think that'll also be, we'll have the same amount of episodes recorded on YouTube as we did just audio. And I thought audio was scary enough for a while, but it's exciting. We're progressing. And like I said, I love seeing my buddies like check out the Cruise Control podcast. Everywhere you can find podcasts, same as this one. If you haven't already, go check it out on Spotify, Idols to Rivals and Cruise Control podcast, and show everybody some love. But yeah, it's been a great year. Well, it's been a long year. It's been a growth year. Let's say that. It's a growth year. I use a different G word. And I really found a lot of parts of myself I didn't know existed, or for the most part knew existed, but didn't have it to pull it out. Didn't have enough to pull it out. And I think that's changing, and it's exciting. And there's a lot of change coming soon. I know it. I can feel it. And it's going to be a wild ride, but I'm ready to get after it because, like I said, like I always say, I'm not living with it. And I promise it'll all be worth it in the end. Even if it fails, get back up and do it again. But I appreciate you guys for listening. If you could subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, go watch another video. And yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And we can talk about it. So hope you have a great week. Like I said, Merry Christmas. Enjoy having your family around. If you're not around family, enjoy your friends, and just be positive. It's the only way. And it took me a while to learn that. It's the only way. But peace.